How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm kind of just gonna be going over a couple of key things when it comes to boundaries. Let me pull out the device. So I wrote down a couple of notes just for today's video on boundaries. Today, I wanted to sit here and kind of talk about something that kind of changed my life in a way, or definitely altered it for the better when it came to boundaries, right? So when I talk about boundaries, I'm not referring to those little invisible lines you put around yourself. It's very much so real, you know what I mean? Now, I know when we think about boundaries, we might think of like walls or limits, that kind of keep us pushed away, right? Boundaries are kind of like a gift that we give ourselves, right? So that way we can show up as our best selves. So let's unpack why it matters. First, what is a boundary, right? Let's just get that down. Well, a boundary simply just a line that is set by you, right? Or somebody else. So whether that's your time, your energy, or even your values, right? When we don't set these kind of things, we risk a heavy set of burnout, frustration, and even losing track of what really matters, right? Now, I remember not too long ago, I'm still kind of like this, right? But I remember not too long ago, right? Anytime that there was a request or there was a question of, hey, let's do something, like, I'm not trying to devalue it, but listen, there's a lot of time where you run into these situations, right? You have all these times where you end up going out and doing something when you're supposed to be doing maybe homework, or maybe you had stuff for work that you're supposed to have done for the next day, right? You have shit that you need to get done. And a lot of the time we just think, procrastination, all this, that, and the next, right? So whether that's extra tasks, late nights, even commitments, those things all took a toll on me. And, even when it came to content, that is what really made me understand, okay, maybe I shouldn't be sitting here, if I have to get my stuff done for this to make a video for you guys, then I have to stay inside. I got to make sure it's done before I do anything, right? It's honestly still a problem that I struggle with to this day. But it's something that I've been trying to work on, and I think that it'd be good for a lot of people to try and work on it as well. And it kind of left me at a point recently, it feels like I hit a brick wall. I was giving so much away that I really didn't have much left for myself. So that's kind of when I stepped in and I knew that I needed boundaries, right? I knew that something had to come into play to drag me away from those things. And, a lot of that is just self-control as well. Yeah, I ended up knowing that I needed to remove myself from that situation and start working on my own craft, you know what I mean? And yes, as everything is, it was very uncomfortable at first, and it still kind of is now. But step by step, I'm slowly learning how to kind of protect my time and just keep it a valuable piece that I understand and know that is going to be making my life better on the daily, right? And I want to preface and say that, sometimes it's okay to take breaks from whatever you have to do, right? It's okay to get that stuff, set it aside for a second, go debrief for a little bit. When you're like, oh, I gotta get up for work tomorrow, I gotta hang out with the friends, gonna go to the club, gonna go drink, whatever, go gamble, all those things end up screwing you over in the long run, because then you didn't really do anything, you know what I mean? You're coming home late, you're gonna go ahead and probably sit there for a little bit, eat some food, and then you're gonna go to bed, and then you're gonna wake up for work and then have a terrible day. And it's like, you're really giving a trade-off there, and some would say it's not even worth it, you know what I mean? So first, I kind of figured out what were the valuables in my time that I wanted to make more time for. Those things being family, work, personal time even, that's a very big one. Just me personally, I love my own personal time. I love being alone and kind of hanging out and just having that peace and serenity, you know what I mean? I like to have that time away. So for me, that was a big one. I did need to have more time for myself. And I also needed to make more time with hanging out with my family and, just being there for a lot of my family, you know what I mean? And slowly but surely, I started detaching myself from, hanging out with friends, and I detached myself from spending, a lot of time on my phone. I've definitely stopped using this thing a lot. It's definitely been for the better. I feel better at, just as a everyday man, I feel a lot better without my phone in my hand. So give it a try. And each time that you do, it may suck and you may have that fear of missing out, but when it's over and that feeling kind of blows over, whether that's a couple hours later, a couple minutes later, you always feel better. That is one thing that is for sure. You always feel better. And, sometimes you miss out, and that's okay. You got to be okay with missing out, because you got to understand something is happening every minute of the day that you're not a part of. So what's any different than one more thing? You know what I mean? Just think about it like that and just put it into perspective. But yeah, each time I did that, I felt like I was taking back control. It felt like I had a good control on myself, and I felt good about myself, you know what I mean? So now my question to you is, where is that in your life? Where have you been stretched thin to the point of breaking even, and not really feeling like you have a lot of energy in you to keep going and keep doing shit, and people pleasing and all those things? So ask yourself, what really matters most? Okay, maybe you write those down on a piece of paper and you look at them every day and remind yourself what you're doing today for, you know what I mean? Figure out what it is that today is going to be about and how you can make today the best version of today. Then I would challenge you guys, if you are having these problems or you feel that you need to better them, just take one goal this week. Take this time until even my next video, and feel free to let me know on the next video how you guys felt, and what you changed. I want to know your kind of story, and like if you guys did change something. So maybe that boundary is stepping away from hanging out with your friends, right? Maybe you need to take more time away from the games, like the video games. Maybe you need to take more time away from this thing right here. Maybe you just need a reset. Maybe you need to get rid of those things for a bit. But yes, so just pick in 1 week, pick one thing that you're choosing to work on, and try to keep yourself in a position of stability and control, and just push yourself to the limit that you can for now. But you have to understand that eventually you got to try to get all those things, time managed basically. Pick something that is going to be challenging enough. You don't want to be comfortable when you're doing it, otherwise you're not learning at least as much. So yeah, I just would encourage you guys to do that. I'm doing it as well. I'm trying to detach personally from hanging out with friends as much, like I said. Trying to give more time to myself and more time to you guys even, just because this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. So if you guys have any goals, please chase them. Make sure you write them down. Figure out what you have to do and what might have to end for you to do that. If you don't have to do anything, awesome, perfect. But that's not the case for a lot of us. So if you guys do have something, try to figure a way that you can move that around, try to maneuver it to fit in your schedule a little better, because our life's kind of like a tire sometimes, right? You get rotated every couple months, right? You need to be able to reset that every once in a while, so that way nothing goes bad, right? Just even the off chance something goes bad. You always want to have a schedule that fits to your needs and your wants, and I mean that in a non-selfish way. Obviously be mindful of other people's time, be mindful of other people's thoughts, or don't be ditching your people, even your family or your friends. Don't be doing any of that. You do need those people in your life. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure, I think the like is like right down here. It's like a big thumbs up. You should really click it. It would help a lot. If you're new to the channel, thank you for watching and stopping through. On the road to 100, not 1,000, but 100, because we'll hit that soon. Anyways, I will see you guys next Thursday with a nice fat vlog for you guys. Much love.